Living on the sea, the view is never the same. It changes, sometimes minute to minute, and obviously day to day. So this morning I awoke, and I usually wake before dawn, and as I was waiting for the sun to come streaming in, instead it was more overcast. And then as the sun shot through, I saw we were having one of our lovely foggy days. So if we were to sit here on the terrace this morning, it's almost as if the sea has disappeared. I love it like this because I feel like it's an artist's canvas or paper, and someone's just taken a thumb and smudged out the horizon line like it's been a mistake and they need to draw it out again. And even as it has begun, this dense fog where I could almost not see anything at all, it's quickly lifting. So let's go down to the shore before it's lifted and the sun blazes out. We have a blue sky and a green sea, whilst now we have an invisible sky and a leaden gray sea. My chair's being tipped over again in the night because of the tides high. So I hope you can see. Let's see if I can lift up towards the sun and you can see it trying to break its way through the fog. And you can tell the sea is out there because you can hear it lapping. I love this view here with one of our big boulders with the grass around. And in the distance, if you just look hard enough, you can see the neighbor's dock. And then there's the line of evergreens and the little slip of land from our neighbor's beach, which they call Treasure Island. It's a great little place to swim. And when we had our sailboat, we used to keep it moored right out there. But like a lot of the things here, the sailboats had to go. So let me swing back around here. And you can see now the sun is starting to win out, and it will break through. And probably in maybe an hour, the fog will have lifted, and we'll probably have blue skies, and I can come back down here again, right in my chair with a cup of tea and sketch, or go beachcombing. So I just wanted to share this little bit of foggy morning. I wanted to keep sharing how different the views can be from day to day and from hour to hour. Okay, hope you enjoyed this beach walk. Let's get on with today's video. Good morning. I hope you liked our foggy beach walk this morning as our introduction. Today I thought we should go to the boathouse and play with some paint colors because over the weekend I had fun. I went and picked out some paint colors I'd been toying with for a while. I've been placing paint samples everywhere, but I kind of narrowed it down to sort of a colorway I'd like to play with. So we'll be doing that, and I'll be asking your opinion. Hopefully you'll give me that in the comments. And then I'm going to share the latest progress of the one of the Chateau de Lalande pages of our book, which is not a book project. So should be fun. So let's get started. Okay, so hopefully you can see what I've got going on here. But I want to talk about how I was coming up with a color scheme for the boathouse. I just gathered some inspirational things when I was trying to figure out the shade of pink. This actually turned out to be a bit too orange, but you can see how these shell pinks have that touch of orange in them. and then this soft blue. And obviously I wouldn't go this purple, but this purple with this greeny, see how this is actually supposed to represent seaweed, which I have plenty of seaweed on the beach, but I don't like to bring it up because as soon as it expires in about 20 minutes, it makes the most horrible scent and squirts salt water everywhere. But this is one of my potato vines. But this deep purple ground with the green overlay of this potato vine is very much of the seaweed I was looking for. So, and I also stopped at, when I went out to get paint the other day, which I was so excited to go and pick out paints, I had to stop at the dollar shop, and they always sell, unfortunately they didn't have any chairs, which I usually do, but they always sell this dollhouse furniture, and it's such a good way to test out paint colors, because you can put it on here and it's a three-dimensional object, and then you can set it in the sunshine and see how it looks in the different ways. So you can see how it's going to look on furniture or on molding and such. All right, so the colors I've sort of come up with, and I have some Farrow and Ball colors. However, it's not Farrow and Ball paint. I'm going to go with the Behr Marquee One Coat Hide because I really like how this, I mean, this isn't endorsed. I wish I was endorsed by Behr paint, but boy, could I make a mess if I had free paint. Anyway, I really like this, so this is actually tinted a color that is a Behr color, but I got samples in the Behr Marquee in the other colors of the Farrow and Ball I liked. So here is one of the main colors. This is called French Gray, and what's funny is both the grays that I purchased, that I had them tint from Farrow and Ball, one is called French Gray and one is called Parma Gray, but they actually are just gray hued. So this is French Gray, but I wanted it because it has this, it's much more green than gray, but it's a very subtle gray, or subtle green. And it has that feel of the sea to me. And I'll show you how much even more I feel it feels like the sea when I put, so that is Farrow and Ball French Gray, but mixed in Behr Marquee. And if I like this color, which I already love it, I'm going to get the full size there. And then this is Farrow and Ball Parma Gray, which is actually a shade of blue, because I'm always trying to find that right blue and that right gray that's soft but isn't too drab gray, but still has that underhue of the sea at the right time of day, like if the fog set in, or sometimes high noon when everything's really bright and brilliant. Everything has sort of a washed out color that I love. So those two colors there. So Farrow and Ball Farrow and Ball Parma Gray, Farrow and Ball French Gray. And then I wanted Farrow and Ball Sulking Room Pink, but they did not have it in their database. So I looked around at the colors that were chosen for the marquee, and I found this color, which is Castilian Pink. And I think, I have not tried this yet, but I think this is going to be the right pink, because this felt a little too orange. And I wanted something that was more along these shades, but a tad more pink, not skewing more on the pinky red side than on the orangey yellow side. So let's see. Let's test this out with this colorway. Oh yeah, I do like that. Of course, when it dries, we'll see. I'm worried it might be a bit too, I want it to be quite 50s pink, but I'm worried this might be actually a bit too 80s pink. Because see, I feel 50s pink is grayish, where 80s pink has a bit more yellow in, but possibly putting it on. Watch me, this is so the artist's trick. I'll stick my brush into my teacup, but let me have a drink anyway. I have to edit out my slurping. So those are like the lighter shades. And then this color, I have been obsessing. Now this is not a Farrow and Ball color. This is an actual Behr color that came out with the Marquee line. And I love the tops of these because they have a separate top that opens. I really love that. So now this color I've been obsessing about because I have so many paint samples. I'm always trying to find that perfect color between blue and green. These two colors are always my go-to colors. I just love those tones. Again, probably from living on the sea. So this is a color, I mean, I've studied it so long that I felt confident enough to get an entire gallon of it. But this color is called Dragonfly. And to me, it just looked like it was that perfect marriage of blue and green that I've been searching for. I've even had them mix my own colors. I've mixed paint myself and then had them take the sample. But sometimes I worry that the colors won't be true if I need multiple gallons. For this color, I mean, look at how lovely that color is. There's another color I picked because to go towards this darker tone that I was talking about that was kind of like a seaweed grayishy purple tone. So this other color, which is called Brooklyn, I thought was sort of in that, see how it has a grayishy blue color, but almost like a purple ground, much like I was thinking of this, which was supposed to represent seaweed. See, it was similar to there. But the funny thing was, I found out that this Brooklyn and this dragonfly color I've been obsessing about on the cover of their thing. This is dragonfly and this is Brooklyn. I did not know that. So somehow I was drawn to those two together, and obviously they go quite well together. Actually, I kind of like this because this is sort of like it has a mid-century but also an old mixture, which is possibly what we're going to have to end up with in the main house. However, out in the cottage, I'm going to be as twee or as French countryside or English cottage as I want to be. So anyway, so here's our color story. Let's try this green on this table just to get an idea of how it is on woodwork or something. I have to say I'm really loving this French gray. It's like that green that is just enough of the sea to make me happy. And let's do this in the Parma gray. See how that is? I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up or not, but you see how it's like that shade of blue that's just quite grayish. Actually, I saw the pretty blue they have in one of the rooms at the Chateau, at Chateau de Lalande. I asked Stephanie in the vlogs, and I know it's not easy for her to answer people because so many people are asking questions, but I asked her what the blue color she used, and she just said Farambal gray. And I thought, well, it doesn't look gray. And then when I was looking through the colors, I saw, oh, I wonder if it is this shade, which is called Parma gray, but is obviously, especially when you hold it next to the green. Now hold it next to, if this were a wall color, with that next to it, and say this were the bottom of the wall, or if this were the bottom of the wall and with a chair rail, and on the top is our lovely wallpaper with a green ground, more of like almost like this color green ground with the bunnies and the things in blue, and then the seashells or hydrangeas in the wallpaper being in those tones of pink. So tell me what you think of this sort of melange of colors. They look a bit pastel here, but you have to remember that this part of the boathouse can be dark during certain parts of the day, and I want it to lift, but yet these colors get so rich, almost jewel tone when they're dark, particularly these shades here. So this could just maybe be accent colors. Maybe we could do trim in the darker shade, or this could just be some pieces of painted furniture. So I'm pretty happy with this color collection so far. So now see when it's in the sun, which I think the camera's not going to be able to pick it up. See, doesn't that make you think of the colors of shells and sand? Yet when it's in a darker area, see how rich the jewel tones almost become? That is the plan thus far for the colors in here. And of course I could add more colors, but as it's basically a one-room cottage with a bathroom, we want the colors to live happily together. It's still a pretty varied color palette, but it's still the blues and grays and greens of the sea with a touch of pink for the sand or the shells. Well, thank you for indulging me in my presentation of paint colors for the boathouse. It was rather fun, and I really do like sharing it with all of you. Even though I have only a few followers, I genuinely enjoy sharing it with you, and do really hope to hear from you and what you think of the colors. I think the fun of the beach colors will just be the right choice for the boathouse, and I think including the pink just makes it that bit more sort of jewel box feel. We can kind of have fun with it, and I think it will play homage to our lovely Bessie. You will recall this sketch of Ruby and Ivy the peachick in the kitchen at Lalande from a previous post, and this is part of my ongoing project of the book, which is not a book, pages for my homage to Lalande. However, in the interim of finding out, since I've made the sketch, that Ruby is actually a male. So I think it's funny that we've had to change our peachick into a girl, as we know that some of the peachicks are hens, and I wanted that to be part of the storyline. But since then, I've learned that Ruby is a boy. So in this sketch, we had Ruby wearing pearls. So now you will see that I'm working on the layers of the final layers for this painting. Now I've isolated the background. There will still be a kitchen and the other details, but the joy of digital painting allows me to separate the layers. So today we have Ruby open and we have Ivy open, and they are both inked. So here you are watching the progress of me underpainting ruby and underpainting ivy. So I underpaint in basically the base colors that I'm going to build up upon. And then over that on the next layer, I add digital pastel and digital oil color to add shade and texture and such. Now these two, of course, will still be in the final image will have the kitchen in the background with all the lovely blue and white spode pottery. And they'll be sitting on a table. But in the interim, I just want to show you the process of this is how I ink and start putting the color in for what will be the final piece. And for fun, I also wanted to add text because even though, again, I'm not sure that this is ever going to be an actual book, but I really like the idea of there being a storyline. So let me show you what I did here with the text. And this, again, is just a study for this. But I thought it would be fun to read the storyline to you just because I think it was kind of fun. So let me go ahead and read the story that I've written for this page, which, of course, can be changed. But this is what I've come up with so far. So let me read that to you now. Fashion allows us to be whomever we wish, purred Ruby, proudly showing off his ruff. Look at me. A French country gentleman, to be sure, but I've taken on the habit of wearing this lovely starched ruff in the Dutch fashion, so inspired by my dear chum Diesel. Ruby caught his reflection in the curve of the saucepan lid and preened, rather pleased with himself. I shouldn't worry about your own makeup of drab feathers, dear Ivy, when you can simply slip into some lovely, brightly hued silks. Ivy thought on these wise words, adjusting her darling new afternoon bonnet, wonderfully beribboned by Mistress Hedgehog, and felt pride swell in her bosom. I suppose, came Ivy, we are who we are, but we can improve how we look and feel with a bit of silk and lace. Perfectly correct, Ivy, my dear, said Ruby, admiring his reflection again. Well, I hope you enjoyed that bit of silliness. And I actually heard back today from Lalande, from an email from lovely Natalia, who let me know that they had finally received my package of the print and the little booklet of the page of the book, which is not a book. So I'm not sure when that will be in the Chateau, but I'm excited to see that it will be. And they were so kind. They said, of course, that I would be able, if I chose to sell the book, I certainly could do, as long as I just mentioned that it was not in any way a collaboration or anything, which I would never do. And I'm still not sure that I'm going to want to sell any of the images because it really is an homage to Lalande. And I'm doing it as a way to just enjoy them and say thank you. So who knows, if I ever do decide to sell any images, I'm still not sure how I feel about that. But I'm still happy to share the process with you. And I think it's coming along pretty fun, actually. So I hope you enjoyed the little bit of funny story and the next layers. And the next time I will try to share this completely finished with the background, with the spode pottery and everything. All right, let's close out today's video. I hope you enjoyed yourself today here. I think we had fun. It's fun to play with paint colors that way. I think putting it on 3D objects, even when they're just inexpensive dollhouse furniture, really helps you to get an idea of what the color is going to be like in situ, because then you get the sun coming in or the sun leaves and it's dark. You get an idea of how pink a pink is going to be, or if a gray-green becomes more green or more gray depending on the light. Anyway, I think today was kind of fun. So I will see many of you tomorrow on Tuesday in the chats at Lalande, and I will see you on my vlog on Wednesday. So thanks for joining me again here, and remember, stay creative.